This is what pisses me off the most about what's happening in our world. And by what I mean by that is politicians, public health entities, WHO, and other such entities in the UN and the World Economic Forum. It pisses me off that those organizations and their minions that are working with them and for them to bring about the changes that they want to see happen in the world, you will own nothing and be happy about it. Central bank digital currencies, VACCINE passports, all of the bullshit that they are doing, right, in order to control us and profit from us and manipulate us. What makes me the most mad is that they are pulling my fellow human beings and yours too off their purpose, off their service to humanity to fight them, right? To fight their tyranny, to fight the oppression they are pushing on us, to fight the unjust laws and mandates they are pushing on us. I'm talking about pulling teachers from the work they do, doctors, lawyers, scientists, journalists, firefighters, policemen, any organization, any professional person, any person in any business or service industry that is serving humanity. There are some people that lost their jobs in the last 3 years because they didn't get the what. They said, no, thank you very much. I am not going to comply with your bullshit. They lost jobs. When you're losing policemen and firefighters, 30-year veterans, good men and women, you got a freaking problem. You got a problem. And the politicians and public health officials don't give a shit. They don't address it because they have an agenda. See, they're pushing an agenda. This is why there is no discussion on whether it was even necessary or whether it was even effective or whether it was even safe. There's no talk on that because they're not trying to help us. They're pushing an agenda, clearly. The good news is people are waking up, in large part due to the myriad of different documentaries and news journalists coming out. I call them citizen journalists that are sharing truth and speaking truth and waking people up. A lot of them you can find in Save the World, in How to Save the World, which is savetheworldguide.com. Right? That's a free guide that I created to consolidate all these documentaries, including action steps, what you can do about it, right? To protect yourself and your family. If you didn't know by now, politicians and the elite that they work for, and I hate the word elite, I usually call them evil because a lot of them are, not all of them, but a lot of them are. They don't give a shit about you, right? They don't care about you. And evidence of that is this: the most effective truth that wakes people up is this. Politicians and their buddies in the media come on and say, we care about you. We care about your health and wellness. We care about your quality of life. And behind the scenes, they are printing money out of thin air that is devaluing the money in your pocket and my pocket and causing us to pay more for the goods and services that we need to live our lives and thrive and survive. And where's the money going, you might ask? Well, that's a great question. The money is going overseas. The money is going into the military-industrial complex. The money is being laundered, for lack of a better word. You saw what happened in Ukraine with the FTX scandal. You see what's still happening in Ukraine. Billions of dollars are going over there for a problem that the United States helped create in 2014 when they were involved with the Maidan coup that disrupted a democratically elected president of Ukraine, and what many experts believe helped install a puppet government in Ukraine. And the United States, they certainly had their hands in that, probably more than anyone else. That's what we do. We meddle in foreign affairs because based on my experience, we are the bulldog and the go fetch it, and specifically our military is the go fetch it, go fix this, going in and taking resources from third world countries or other countries in general. You know, that's what we do for the global cabal. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that shit out. You know, all you have to do is be awake and aware, and you get it. Doubling back to my point, it pisses me off to no end to know that good men and women are pulled off their service to humanity, the work that they're doing. Again, go down the line, any profession. Truckers, let's talk about the trucker convoy. Did you have any disruption in your supply chain because they felt strongly enough to go and do a stage a protest in Canada, until of course it was shut down because it was because they were able to, because the government of Canada was able to defund them and take their money. If that shit doesn't concern you, you're not paying attention at all. At all. By the way, Justin Trudeau was one of the biggest pieces of you-know-what on the planet. What's happening in Canada is worse than the United States because they don't have many of the laws that protect their citizens from the bullshit. From my experience and my research, Canada is completely captured. You have very few freedoms up in Canada now, and they're being chiseled away day by day. That same thing is trying to be done here in the United States. The only thing that stops tyranny is us. It's not a piece of paper in Washington. It's us. The Constitution is defended by us. Speaking about it, talking about it, pushing back, saying, I'm not going to comply with you. The reason I didn't comply is because none of my questions have ever been answered for 20 years. I have questions about what happened in September of 2001? You know the date. I don't say it because I don't want a little notification at the bottom of the video. I have questions about that. I have questions about why we left billions of dollars of equipment in Afghanistan to be used in nefarious ways all over the world. That's a fucking problem for me. That's a problem for me. The same assholes that did those things are doing the current things. Their track record is not great in my mind. And if you're awake and aware, you see what I'm talking about. So when they tell me, specifically speaking of Governor Kathy Holcomb, that clown show in New York, we got a new VACCINE. It's specifically tailored to the variants. I don't give a shit what you have. You never talk to me. You never ask my question. You never answer my questions. You are clearly not working for me or the American people. It's very apparent to me who you are working for, and that is the pharmaceutical industry and the global military-industrial complex. I don't know what people who don't see it are looking at, because it is very clear to me that a lot of politicians and public health officials are working as salespeople and marketers in the marketing and sales department for the pharmaceutical industry, right? The WHO is pretty much completely working for Bill Gates. Remember, Bill Gates stepped in and funded the WHO when Donald Trump defunded them in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Bill Gates, an individual, a businessman, a shrewd businessman. Does that put a red flag up to you? It does to me. It does to me, especially now also that we know they are pushing a whole bunch of shit. Now, what was it, the G20? I think it was the G20 or the G7. I think it was G20. I believe they met in Bali a few years ago, said, oh yeah, we are going to make VACCINES, PASSPORTS a priority. We think that's a good thing. Oh, no, it's not. It's not the fact that people are having trouble paying their rent or buying food or putting their kids in quality education. That's not the biggest problem facing humanity. The biggest problem facing humanity is we need to make sure people are vaccinated. Okay. Okay. No, that's not what I see the biggest problem is, right? And probably not what you see the biggest problem is either. I'll leave you with this. There is light at the end of the tunnel, but it does require all of us to get together and work on the same page. Because remember, they are very few and we are many. And we are connected to the God force, the God source, just as much as they are. And we have collective power. Now, here's what you do. Go pick up the guide at savetheworldguide.com, look through those action steps and start doing them. And I'm going to share a couple of my favorite ones right now. Question the shit out of these mofos beyond belief and do your own research. If you're not doing your own research now, please start doing it. It is vitally important that you educate yourself because this is the information age. If a person is ignorant in the information age, it is a choice. It is a choice. It is mind-blowing to me when I know that the information people need to thrive and survive is just right a few clicks away. But because of the blocks in their consciousness, we all have them to a degree in different areas, different places, different ways, because of the blocks in their consciousness. And that block is, my government's got me. They're looking out for me. I don't have to do it. I elected a representative to go to Washington to take care of my business and make sure, be the watchdog, and the FDA is the watchdog, and the FDA is doing their stuff, and the FDA is doing this. If you know anything about food, the food industry, that's where I had the big awakening. The food industry is a effing joke, predominantly. The FDA is not doing us any favors. Talking about cereal aisle. I'm talking about soda pop. I'm talking about energy drinks. All of them. Bullshit. I'm talking about the processed manufactured foods. I'm talking about the seed oils. Highly inflammatory. I'm talking about the sugars. Some soda pops have sugars that are off the charts astronomical. I picked up a can just the other day just to look at it, and it was 75 grams of sugar. I remember the day when the 30-something grams was appalling. 75 grams. Sugar has zero nutritional value, none. I'm not saying I don't eat sugar, but I'm very conscious of what the amount of sugar I put in my mouth. 75 grams. Sugar has no nutritional value. It burns hot in the body. It causes all sorts of problems at the cellular level. It's a problem. It's a problem. You know, I believe they're allowing food to be made that way, processed, fake ingredients, fake vitamins that are not bioavailable to our bodies because they want us to be fatter, dumber, weaker, slower, less aware, lower our consciousness. Why would you not? If you're a evildoer at the highest level in the world, why would you want a populace that is going to question every move you make? Why would you want a populace that is awake and aware to the bullshit? You know, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. Put yourself in a psychopath's or a sociopath's shoes. Think like they do. I know it's challenging because you're not that, but think like they do. What would you do? What would you do if you had so much money, power, and control in the world that you no longer thought of yourself as a human being, but you thought of yourself as a God? I believe that's what these people believe they are. I believe they feel so powerful they are untouchable, and many of them are. Who went to Epstein Island? We'll never know. Well, we may never know. If if you've been paying attention, right? Watch out for these mofos. You know, I care about you. I don't want to see you in any type of sticky situation or trouble. My whole mission in life and for the last 10 years has been to alleviate suffering and stop calamity from happening to human beings, my fellow human beings. Because you know what? It fucking sucks when I see that. When I see suffering, especially that didn't need to happen, right? Knowledge is power. Awareness is power. Understanding is power. Please watch those documentaries in the guide at savetheworldguide.com. I'm in the process of coming out with version 3, and that is even more documentaries, more ideas and insights, and some more value added features and benefits. But take some time and go check those out, and thanks for watching this video, by the way. I appreciate you. Leave me a thumbs up if you like this video and this content. I'd love to have you as a subscriber as we shine the light of awareness on situations that are developing in our world that really need to be talked about, right? There's a lot of things going on underneath the surface. So until next time, I wish you all the best health, wealth, and success. Thanks so much. Have an awesome day.